My name's Sam Abakasis.
My name's Alex Rosen.
And together we make up
Double A+ Mathematics Training. We are the premier mathematics training center in North America, excluding Canada, of course, for
strength, endurance, stamina, and we'll teach you how to make the most of your allotted minute.
Oh, say, can you see? And we will teach you the inner secrets of how to work the golden balls.
We would like to thank you in advance for watching this tutorial on circles and transformations. Let's go!
We're going to start this training by learning about transformations. Now, transformations is simply an operation that moves the points of a graph on a plane. So there's different kinds of transformations, and we're going to talk about a couple. First, vertical and horizontal shifts, then vertical and horizontal compressions, and then finally reflections. Here, y equals x squared. Okay, on an xy graph, that looks simply just like this. If I add 1 to this equation, all the points are going to move up one space. So now instead of the center being at 0, 0, it is now at 0, 1. Isn't that amazing? Similarly, if it's x squared minus 1, y equals, of course, then the graph would shift down 1, kind of, and now the center will be at 0, negative 1. See how that works? I think you can do it. Now for horizontal shifts, we need to manipulate the equation in the denominator because that's manipulating the x. So you would think if you want to move it over to the left, you subtract, but actually you add. So we're going to change this to y equals 1 over x plus 1. That's going to move to the left 1 unit. So normally, y equals 1 over x looks like this. Equals 1 over x again. And then we're going to move it over to the right. And it doesn't need to be 1. It can be 5 now. So y equals 1 over x, moving over to the right, minus 5. 5 units to the right. So now the graph will look. Stretches and compressions are when a number is multiplied by the entire equation. And if it's more than 1, it's a stretch. If it's less than 1, it's a compression. Easy enough. Now we're going to multiply this by 3. Okay, so it's going to be y equals 3x squared. Now, because this 3 is obviously more than 1, of course, it's going to be a stretch, meaning the graph will become skinnier. So now the new graph will be looking more like this. By the equation by something, a number less than 1, let's take 1/2 x squared. That is what you call a compression, vertical compression. Y equals the absolute value of 2x. You would think that this is a horizontal stretch, but really, no, it's a compression by 1/2. You take the reciprocal. Likewise, if you have y equals 1/2 x, you would think this is a compression, but really, no, you take the reciprocal, and it's a stretch by 2. Now let's talk about reflections. No, I'm not talking about mirrors, I'm talking about reflections in math. To do a reflection over the x-axis, we want to put a negative in front of the entire y value, not just the x. So we're going to put it in front of the entire thing with the x to the 10th being its own parentheses. See how the y value is now flipped, meaning that it's a reflection over the x-axis. Graph it. So now if we want to graph this, now, if we flip this over the x-axis, the graph will now just be a sad face. Now, let's reflect over the y-axis. Let's use a different equation. If we want to reflect it over the y-axis, we're going to need to put a negative sign in front of the x, just to manipulate the x. So instead of putting it on the outside of the parentheses, we're actually going to put it inside. Okay, Sam, we have the problem y equals 3 x squared minus 5 plus 8. Let's see what you have to do to this equation.
So we know that this problem is a manipulation of the graph y equals x squared. So we got vert stretch times 3, right 5, up 8. The xy Cartesian plane can accommodate all figures, shapes, and sizes. Next thing we're going to talk about is circles. The general formula of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. This is where h and k are the coordinates of the centers of your circle, and r is the radius. The reverse process is finding the equation of a circle when only given the graph. Here is the graph we have. We have a center at -4, 2. And the circle, using the distance formula in logic, we know that the radius of the circle will be 7. And since we know the center, the equation is going to be x plus 4 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 7 squared, or 49. The unit circle is also used a lot in all areas of mathematics. The equation for the unit circle is this. We know that the center of the unit circle is at the origin, making the center 0, 0 and the radius 1. You simplify the equation, and that's how you get the standard equation for the unit circle. You can find the x and y intercepts of a circle when using the common formula for finding the intercepts. When you have an equation, x minus 1 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 3, you know to find the y-intercept, you have to set x equal to 0. So that's going to be 1 squared plus y squared minus 2y plus 1 equals 3. After using the quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, the roots became 1 plus or minus 1 root 2. Plus 2 squared plus x minus 1 squared equals 9. 4, which is what I get when I square 2, plus x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 9. So we have a 5, x squared minus 2x plus 5 equals 9, x squared minus 2x equals minus 4 equals 0. Let's fix that. And using the aforementioned quadratic formula, our roots are 1 plus or minus 1 root 5. Say we have the equation x minus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 4. Off the top, plug anything into your calculator, you need to isolate the y value. So you're going to have a y plus 3 squared equals 4 minus x minus 2 squared. Now we're going to square root both sides. So we're going to get a y plus 3 equals big root, 4 minus x minus 2 squared. We subtract 3 to isolate the y, and therefore making it pluggable into your calculator. Y equals negative 3 plus root 4 minus x minus 2. I almost tricked you there. You didn't catch my mistake, did you? What's wrong with this picture? There's no plus minus. The square, the dreaded completing the square. But with the help of AA plus mathematics, it will be a piece of cake for you. You're going to be given an expanded formula. You're going to see x squareds, y squareds, x values, y values, and you're not going to know what to do with them, but we're here to help. Let's say you're given the formula x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 4y plus 2 equals 0. You're going to want to group together the x's and the y's. In order to simplify this, it's going to be x squared minus 8x plus y squared plus 4y equals negative 2. Now, if you aren't familiar about how to complete the square, you're going to have to make the x's and the y's into a perfect square. By doing that, you're going to want to isolate each of them. X squared minus 8x, leave a space, plus y squared plus 4y, leave a space. For the x squared minus 8x, what you want to do is you want to divide the b value, which is the negative 8, by 2, and then you're going to want to square that number. Negative 8 divided by 2, negative 4. Negative 4 squared, 16. So you're going to do a little plus 16. But you just can't skip after that. You have to remember to add the plus 16 to this negative 2. So it equates both sides of the equation. Next, you're going to want to do the same with the y. So you have the y squared plus 4y. So we use the same tactic. Divide 4 by 2, 2. Square 2, 4. Plus 4. And you want to add 4 here again. So what you have now is x squared minus 8x plus 16 plus y squared plus 4y plus 4 equals negative 2 plus 16, 14, plus 4, 18. Now, in order to group these to make them the equation of the circle, you can use the completing the square to be able to see the centers and the radius. So in order to simplify this, you have an x, you have a minus 4, and to square that, you will get this. For the y's, you have a y plus 2 squared equals 18. We really hope you enjoyed this tutorial by AA+ Mathematics. If you utilize these tactics, you can
move ahead of the other classes and spend time doing SAT and ACT problems. So I hope that you utilize the knowledge. Thank you.
Assistència de Xavi, més cap a la dreta per a Messi, Messi, immens Messi, encara 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 Messi, gol.
So we hope that you're able to see our beautiful XY graph right here. This is the y-axis, that's the x-axis. So we hope you enjoy this initial production.
Featuring the Platinum Band, and this time we're gonna get funky. To the left, take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. Right foot, let's stomp. Left foot, let's stomp.
Class, just to review, what's the standard formula of a circle in which you can find the center and the radius? Alex.
Okay, it's h minus 23 to cubed minus 23 minus k squared equals r squared.